Hi, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and today I'm reviewing Drawn to Adventure from Final Frontier Games. Now, Drawn to Adventure is, as you might imagine, a roll and write. It's a game where you're going to roll dice, write things down, and proceed to adventuring through your progressive kingdoms until, well, someone wins or someone loses, and, I mean, that's basically just describing board games at this point. That's unnecessary. But in Drawn to Adventure, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be rolling your dice and then assigning those dice, or more specifically choosing those dice, depending on the player count. I'm set up for a 2-player game, which means I should have 2 dice or 5 dice and then 1 extra first player die over there. We're going to roll the dice and the players are going to select the dice in order to take various actions around the board. They're going to be taking actions to move around their own private little board over here and accomplish quests and defeat bosses and all of that. And then once they're done with that, once the board is clear, we'll explain how that works shortly, you're going to progress to one of the subsequent layer boards. So there's going to be 2 boards for every stage. For stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, there's 2 different boards, giving you a few different pathways you can have through this kingdom, and also making it a game that is easily expandable with additional board sets or who knows what. But that's going to be what you're doing there. You're going to ultimately try to do that, get the most points. Points are going to be acquired primarily through getting coins, gold, and rubies and all that in your little chests and whatnot, adding those all up. And that is basically 98% of Drawn to Adventure. The other 2% is going to be in how you actually play this game. Because like I said already, you're going to roll those dice and then players are going to draft those dice. So let's ignore this first player die for right now. It's unnecessarily confusing. Let's just focus on this over here. Player is going to go ahead and take one of these symbols and then either utilize that symbol perhaps to move. So I have the key over here. The key is going to be the down symbol. You have a little guide over here, and then I can use it to potentially move down. Moving down does not seem advantageous over there, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take that key, and I'm going to use it to cross off this key over here, which completes that quest, and now this is an explorable terrain. What you're going to be doing is, as you accomplish quests on the board, you effectively make the terrain explorable. Past that, you have move actions. So maybe this player takes that, and I'm going to go ahead and take, I don't know, let's go ahead and take, nothing here particularly is helpful, but I'll take a die over here, and I'm going to go ahead and, none of these are really helpful. I'm going to take this over here, and I'm going to store up that key in my backpack over here. So I'm going to circle my backpack, storing up that key. And then you're going to be using those dice to primarily accomplish quests, defeat bosses. Those are going to be the red zones over here. And then alternatively to move around the board using this sort of compass thing. So had I had a sword over here, I could have taken the sword to move this away over here. When you move, you can move as far as you want in a straight line, as long as you're exploring only terrains that you've already covered. So you're completing quests, further exploring the map. There's going to be some other aspects to be mindful of. For instance, there's going to be caves. When you go to a cave, you can move from the cave origin to the cave destination zone. Additionally, there's going to be ships. Again, ships are going to let you move from the ship zone to other ship zones on the board. So there's other facets of how the actual gameplay plays out. You're going to have potions. Potions are going to be utilized for a variety of options. You can use a potion to re-roll 1 or 2 dice. You can use 2 potions to flip a die to its corresponding opposing side, or you can use 3 potions to take a move action. Additionally, at any point, you can change any 2 die to 1 die, giving you complete guaranteed freedom, but at the cost of a full action. Once players have accomplished 3 bosses on the board, that's going to be indicated up here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That crown indicates the 3rd boss. Once players have completed the 3rd boss on their respective board, and keep in mind, players are ultimately doing their own little thing here. There's a drop of interaction in the sense that some locations have a first bonus, that the first person who got it gets it, and the other players have to cross it off. So even if they accomplish that same quest, that same boss, that same whatever, they will not get it, but players will primarily get that first bonus. But past that, it's just their own, doing their own thing on the board. So as we go through the game, we're going to be collecting coins and gold and gems, and once we complete our 3rd boss, we're going to we're going to add all those up to give us our treasure chest. So maybe I got 3 points worth of gems, and 4 points worth of gold, and 5 points worth of coins. I'm going to add those all up, mark that over here, and then proceed to the next board with a new starting value. That's going to be board over there. Let's go to the Trobit Kingdom with our new starting value. There's going to be one more thing to really be mindful of before we cover the rest, which is going to be inns. So you have these inn spots you can go to with these little scrolls. That's going to allow you to accomplish these quests. These quests over here are going to be given to you, at which point you have to, well, accomplish a quest in a specific zone. So over here, I have to go, and you actually draw from the bottom, so it's, hidden. So we have sunken treasure. I have to cash in a key from my backpack when I'm in that zone over there, that D zone over here, and then boom, I'll turn that over, and awesome. I will have 1 level up, 1 star, and 2 coins. Now, there's also a first player die. First player die is something that only the first player can take. It's a little fiddly, but also gives me stuff I like, so we'll see with that. But first player die is a specific first player bonus that only the first player can take, so when they roll their dice, they roll, and either the first player takes this die, or he gives it up entirely. Now, what do those dice symbols do? Well, this allows you to take 2 additional actions with whatever your other die is. The star gives you a level up, which is one of the most fun parts of the game. We haven't talked about that yet. This is either going to give you a mark off of any specific mark over there, or let you move, and then this gives you a coin or let you move, and this gives you 4 potions. Those are going to be the sides of the star player die. So, leveling up. Let's talk about leveling up, because that is, by far, the best part of the game. Everyone's going to have their own individual character, and on that character, as you get stars, you'll mark them off, and whenever you get 2 stars, you'll accomplish a level, getting a permanent bonus to your character. This is 100% the best part of the game. We're not into the review part, but I'm just going to tell you what I think about that. So, you can cross off 2 stars, you get an ability. The ability could be, for instance, over here we have the unicorn carriage. I should not show this to my daughter. The noble has the unicorn carriage, which if you trade in 2 potions, you can get 2 movements anywhere. That's pretty cool. You have rise to nobility, which will allow you to, isn't that the name of one of their games? That's the name of a game. Is it a Final Frontier game? I don't know. Rise to Nobility, which allows you to trade in anything to the first player die in order to complete an adjacent quest. That's pretty cool. Trade in the first player die to complete any adjacent quest, regardless of the criteria for it. We have Birthright. You may draft the first player die if the first player does not. That's also pretty cool, although situational. And we have Royal Decree. Gain a potion when you draft a book die over there. That's going to be these options you can get over here, and every character comes 2-sided. So there's going to be at least, I think there's 5 characters, so 5 different options, each one 2-sided, 2 different progression systems for their characters, all giving you your unique special advantages in the game. There's also going to be an aspect of once you do level up, you slowly unlock the ability to acquire these things over here instead of leveling up. It's a little more complicated than I feel. Well, let's just go through it. Basically, once you get the stars over here, once you unlock stars, you'll be able to circle an ability every time you cross off a level, and then instead of taking a star, you can take whatever benefit is shown here. So speaking for myself, generally I like to level up my entire character, and once my entire character is leveled up, I cash in any remaining stars to get rubies, because rubies are awesome. They're worth a ton of points in the game. That's Drawn to Adventure. Few small nitpicks we didn't really talk about. We briefly mentioned the aspect of storing things in your backpack, where you can store things in your backpack and then cross them off. We have potions that you can cross off. You can earn them, then cross them off. All those things will move to the next page as well. So as you go to the next dungeon, you're going to carry on your treasure, as well as any remaining potions you have left over, as well as any remaining things you have in your backpack. And whenever you defeat a boss, you're also going to get treasure. And that's basically Drawn to Adventure. So, what I like about this game? Well, I mean, I touched upon it already, but the abilities are going to be first and foremost. Leveling up your character is a lot of fun in this game. I mean, I generally like powers and abilities in any game, in every game, and no different in Drawn to Adventure. Your characters start off fairly basic, and honestly, the first round or 2 feels a little bit cramped as you try to just move around places. But as you level up your character, you do get more powerful. You do have more options, more flexibility in front of you, and unique special advantages that you have that no other player does. Now, some of the characters do feel a bit unbalanced. Keep in mind, I've played this game 4 times. I could be completely wrong on just how balanced they are, but the Witch in particular, the Witch just has a cool string of combos that work amazingly well. The Wizard, actually it's called the Wizard, not the Witch, but the Wizard, the female Wizard, has a cool string of combos that are amazingly powerful, that are just work really well. They're amazingly awesome. I like playing with her because she's powerful, and I like playing against her because it feels like a challenge. All the characters, that said, do feel very strong in their unique advantages of how they can get some sort of extra from the game. The Wizard primarily relies on potions, the Noble relies on the first player die. They all have their own aspect, whether it's more combat-based, charging into other things, and all those different types of things. So leveling up in this game, lots of fun. The gameplay is simple, fast, and rewarding. It's fun to roll dice and collect things, to get potions and mark them off in your backpack, to earn different things, to complete quests, to get places on the board faster than other players are getting places on the board, to defeat the bosses, to earn ranks of treasure. And this first board, you're not going to get a lot of treasure on your first board, but the second board, you will get a little more. Like I said already, your characters get stronger, and you're able to do just a little bit more every single time in this game. And by the time you get up to the 4th board, if you're doing things right, and especially if you fully leveled up your character, you can be cashing in those extra stars for rubies and getting chunks full of points from the rubies over there. You can build up a better character and a little bit more of an engine as you figure out exactly how to manipulate your way through the 9 realms, 6 realms technically, of Elf Kingdom or whatnot. So overall, powering up is fun. Gameplay simple and fun. The roll and write aspect is, I mean, it's a simple roll and write. Past that first player die thing, it's fair. I mean, again, first player die is not the worst, but past the first player die, which is a little fiddly, it's basically just roll dice, pick dice, use those dice in whatever way is beneficial, mark things off to earn them, cross them off to use them, level up your character, and progress through the game, and that's basically it. So overall, fun experience. As far as things I don't like, the biggest thing is going to be the game length. This game can run, I mean, what does it say on the box? I don't even know. It says, oh, well, the box is accurate. Look at that. It says 30 to 90 minutes on the box. The box is accurate. We have found that this one runs around an hour, and that's with 2 players. I can't even imagine what it's like with 4 players, because it probably just slows down the game even further without being an additional reward of a system. I think I would only ever play this game with 2 players as of right now, because while I enjoy the game, it is a fun game, but it just runs long for the experience that you're getting out of it. This is a 60-minute game that feels like it should be a 30-minute game. Now, I'm not advocating cutting it shorter, because I do like the progression of going through the 3 kingdoms. I do like what you get done and how you get more powerful. It does feel like it feels like it's the right length for the game, if that makes sense, if not the right length for the level of intricacies and decisions I'm making. So the game does run longer than I'd like. The first player die is fiddly, but I don't particularly care about that. But overall, the rest of the engine is fine. The last thing I would note as far as the other things past the game length, what I would note as far as what I don't like, is the bosses feel very anticlimactic. You have this concept of defeating a boss, which just means cashing in symbols for a quest, no different than anything else that you're doing in the game. No gameplay differences, no drastic aspect, no drawing of some cool card that you have to overcome. I mean, I feel this game's probably ripe for an easy expansion or module that you can add in that replaces the bosses in the game with some sort of deck and interplay system where something actually matters a bit more. But the current bosses on the board just feel completely underwhelming. As far as what I can see others not liking, I mean, not necessarily anything specifically that I didn't cover already. The game is on the light side, so perhaps just the fact that the game is fairly light in what it's doing, which isn't necessarily a problem for me. It's the game length that's a problem for me, combined with the lightness. But you're rolling dice, drafting dice, using them for your pack, leveling up your character, progressing through this. There's not a ton of decision space in what you're doing, which, again, not the problem for me. The problem is when you put that degree of not enough decision space into an hour-long experience. We've gotten it down to close to 45 minutes on subsequent plays, but the first game was easily an hour, and even subsequent plays, I'm not certain if it was 45 minutes. I didn't time every game, but it certainly felt longer than it should. As far as final thoughts review, Drawn to Adventure is a game I currently like. I say currently with great intent. This is a game that I don't know if it has legs, and I say that from a stance of I like the game, I do, but I don't know if it's one that I like enough to keep pulling out once I've tried all the characters. In fact, ironically, similar to Merchant's Cove, a game I just reviewed, Merchant's Cove is a game that I 100% want to go through all the various factions and try them out in different ways and figure them out. And once I do, I think I'm going to keep playing it, especially when combined with the secret stash that everyone keeps telling me about. Then I think I'll keep playing it, but I'm not certain. Similarly in Drawn to Adventure, although on a much lighter scale, I'm not comparing the 2 games at all in terms of how light they are. Drawn to Adventure is a much lighter game than Merchant's Cove. But similarly in Drawn to Adventure, I feel like I want to go through the experience. I feel like I want to try the different characters, and then I might be done with it. It is a fun system. It is a good roll and write. It is one I can easily recommend trying, but I don't know if it's one I recommend owning, especially in compared to the other glut of solid roll and write games that are out there that are more appropriate in their length to the game weight, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense, because I said it 3 times. That's basically it. That's going to be Drawn to Adventure. Solid 3 out of 5 for me. Enjoyable experience, but runs a little long compared to the experience you are getting. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good one.